Hey, Brian here from LCS. Thanks for stopping by and checking out the channel. Tonight we're going to talk about FOMO, the fear of missing out. Hey, so do you suffer from FOMO, the fear of missing out? It's a pretty common occurrence these days. I think a lot of people let FOMO creep in. And I think it's been really increasing over the last, 10 years or so with social media and the highlight reels that we see of, everybody's good time and vacation and things they're buying and the food they're eating. It's not often that we see bad things on social media. People are just, highlighting all of the great things they're doing, right? And so it's natural for us to feel like we're missing out, right? Why is that person on vacation again, or why is that person buying that new gadget, or that new comic book, or that new 9/8 Hulk 181, right? So. But there are some things that you can do to combat FOMO. Certainly, when it comes to hobbies and comic book collecting, we have to kind of set boundaries, and it really starts with your budget, right? Your money. And you're probably saying, Brian, you're a comic book, collector and reseller. Well, what do you know about, finance, personal finance, and money? Well, I'll let you in a little secret. I ran a successful personal finance blog for over 7 years, and my family and I were featured on Good Morning America, talking about personal finance and dumping debt. So I do have a little bit of experience in the area, and I think we need to start there, right? We need to have a good, financial foundation for any of hobbies that we want to involve ourselves in. Collecting comic books, collecting sneakers, traveling, whatever it is, whatever you prioritize, spending your money on in your life. You need to have a solid foundation, and it starts with budgeting. It starts with having a good understanding of some basic financial terms. And about debt and credit cards and things like that. So I think once you can master those things, your level of FOMO will decrease, right? Because you'll have a better handle on your money, right? You should never take the rent money or the car payment money and go buy comic books with it, because what are you going to do when the rent is due, right? It's the same thing for gambling, right? You should only gamble with money that you have the ability to lose, right? Again, you don't take the mortgage payment down to the casino and throw it down on black on roulette, right? Because chances are you're probably going to lose that money, and then you're going to have to try to figure out a way to come up with it. So you have to start with that foundation, that financial foundation. And I think one of the things I recently it was announced on Gem Mint. He paid off his house. His wife and family, they paid off their house, right? And by freeing up that money and by not having that burden of a large, payment every month, he was able to leave his job and pursue, YouTube and collecting and, full time, right? And so that was a choice he made. And there's a lot of people out there that, do that, right? You get rid of the burdens of debt, so you don't have all of those payments going out every month to creditors, so that you can then have that money and do what you want with it. And so I think that's the key, right, for comic book collecting, or any type of collecting. It doesn't have to be comic books, but then you have the ability to buy what you want when you want. You may come across a great deal. And if you don't have your finances in order, you may not take it, be able to take advantage of it. We know, Hulk 181 has been, the talk the last, several weeks, and the amount of money it increases, it almost seems daily that it's being bumped up. It's increasing, right? So, but if you had your finances in order 3 months ago, maybe you could have picked up a copy. Now it may be, not obtainable for some people because of the cost of that book. But I think the recent spike in comic book values kind of across the entire market have people kind of a little bit freaking out. Like, oh, I'm not going to be able to unless I buy the new copies every Wednesday from my local comic shop. I'm not going to be able to afford these books in the future. And again, can you afford everything that's on your pull list every week, or are you pulling money out of the grocery budget to cover it? It shouldn't be that way, right? It should be that you have a balanced approach. I don't go to my local comic shop every Wednesday. I have a pull list set up. So I don't have the need, like I got to run down there every Wednesday to see what's coming out. There's enough information online that what books are being released, what variants. So you can include that in your pull list, whether it's you're collecting the series or a single issue. My comic shop is my local comic shop is very flexible. I send them an email and they'll add it to my list. But I don't run down to my shop every Wednesday to go get that. I may go every 2 weeks. There's been times I've gone, 3 weeks before I've gone to pick up the books on my list. So I don't, and if I miss something, that's okay. I can, pick it up in the secondary market. There's a number of places you can find it online, and maybe it's really not that important that I have that book. So I think it's really about setting priority in your collection or collecting. Set the priority. What's most important to you. Spider-Man's my favorite character. So if push comes to shove, if I need to move books off my pull list, I'm going to stick with my Spider-Man titles, and then the other things will kind of fall to the floor. And then if I have extra money, then I'm putting it on those additional titles that I want to pick up. You have to, you can afford, anything. You just can't afford everything, right? So you have to kind of prioritize with your collecting, so you don't, fear, have the fear of missing out. What's most important to you? What's priority? It's similar to, like I said, when you're paying your bills. You pay the mortgage, you pay the rent, you pay the electric, you pay the heat, you pay the water, right? You put food on the table. Those things are priority. The other things are going out to the movies or to a concert or buying a new pair of sneakers, maybe lower priority. So you have to kind of balance that, and it starts with having a good understanding of just some general personal finance. Understand how much money you have coming in, how much money you have going out, how much money you have spare. And if you want to increase that, you just got to get rid of that debt, right? Get rid of those reoccurring monthly payments. Get rid of credit card debt. Get rid of student loan debt. Yeah, sure, it may take you a couple years to do that, but you'll be in a much better position. I mean, think of all of the outgoing payments that you have every month, to creditors. If you didn't have those payments every month, how much money would you have to spend on hobbies or travel or collecting comic books, those type of things? So, once you fall into that habit of building a plan for your money, you'll have more money to be able to spend it on the things you want. And certainly, we're here to talk about, collecting comic books and selling comic books and buying comic books. So, if that's your focus and that's priority for you, then you should try to make room within your budget by, getting rid of, the debt, and, then you won't have the FOMO, right? You won't have the fear of missing out because you'll have the free money, the available money. the spending money to be able to buy and collect whatever you want. And then, I hear it all the time with some collectors, like, oh, my wife's going to kill me, or my girlfriend's going to kill me when she finds out how much money I spent. And so that shouldn't really be the case. You should, if you're married, or in a relationship with whoever, your spouse, you should work out a plan with your money, right? My wife and I have a system where we have a little bit of fun money, spending money that we each get per month, and so there's no question, if I spend $50 picking up comics on a Wednesday, she's not going to care, because that was already predetermined that I'm going to have a certain amount of money to spend every month. So that's just a great tip, to be on the same page, so you avoid those unexpected expenses, or where did the money go, and then it turns into a fight, right? So you get on the same page with your partner, your spouse, to just avoid that, and it really just takes a conversation, right? Over dinner, just sit down and discuss, what's the plan for our money? I enjoy, for me personally, I enjoy collecting comic books. My wife, enjoys getting her nails done, or, going, getting her hair cut, and, colored, or whatever it is, right? And so we have that agreement where we understand that, all right, she's going to spend some money on those type of things that she values, and I'm going to spend it on the type of things that I value. So, I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm missing out, because, I have some money to spend, every week or every month on the things that I enjoy. And I shouldn't have to worry about somebody getting mad at me because I spent money, because we pre-discussed it, we're in agreement on it, and there's no fight when I come home with the bag of comics on a on any given day. So yeah, so I just wanted to kind of cover that topic a little bit. Like I said, I think it starts with some personal finance basics, right? Kind of get your money in order, get your house in order, and then from a financial standpoint, make sure all the responsibilities are taken care of. Like I said, the rent, the food, the electric, the heat, whatever it is. Just make sure those things, the needs, right? There's certain things that we need, right? We need a roof over our head. We need food, we need transportation. And then, once those things are covered, if you have money left over, then you can spend them on, the wants. I want a new PlayStation 5. I want that new, 9/8, book. I want, a bunch of new releases that are coming out. I'm going to add them to my pull list. So it's just important to have that, foundation of finance, personal finance, and understanding going in, so that you don't have to worry about missing out on the latest and greatest series, or you know whatever it is, statue, pop figures, toys, whatever you're into, right? So you just kind of build a plan, and you execute it, and then nobody gets upset with that, right? So and I know there are some other collectors out there. Comic Book Investor, I think he does Friday show or video on personal finance, and you know if we can do so much if we get rid of our debt. You just any one of you out there listening to this or watching this, if you have debt, you got to build a plan. You got to build a budget, and then figure out a plan. Stop adding any new debt, and then tackling that debt, throwing as much extra money you have at that debt to get rid of it. Because, like I said, just think of your finances per month when you don't have a $300 credit card payment, or a $500 car payment, or a $1,500 rent payment. If you could get rid of those things, certainly consumer debt should be what you're tackling first. Student loan debt, credit card debt, things like that. If you can tackle those first, you're going to free up cash and then be able to do anything you want. And you'll never have FOMO again once you build a money blueprint, and unburden yourself from debt. So I thanks thanks for checking out the video. Kind of a little bit off topic, I know, but personal finance ties into we use money all of our lives, right? From the time we're teenagers to the day we die, we're using money, and so it's really important that you increase your knowledge on the topic because it's going to improve so many other areas of your life once you just have a basic financial plan. I'm going to put some links down in the description of some books or even some reference material for personal finance. But if anybody has any questions, certainly reach out, drop them in the comments. Happy to answer any questions. Like I said, my family and I paid off over $100,000 worth of consumer debt. We were featured on Good Morning America, and it's changed our lives. The amount of stress we have in our lives has decreased because we have a plan for our money. When the unexpected happens, we get a flat tire, or the dishwasher blows up, we have to travel somewhere, emergency, if family member's sick or whatever the case may be. It's no big deal because we've got, an emergency fund, we've got cash, savings, and we're able to just kind of roll with things as, life throws you punches. We're able to, bob and weave and, with a cash savings, with some money in the bank, it really changes your perspective on things. So, like I said, I'll leave some links in the description, and if you have any questions, certainly you can reach out to me or drop them in the comments. But I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you're enjoying the channel. Fairly new. Appreciate all the likes and subscribes. It does help grow the channel and get the word out there. So thanks again. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll talk.